Many thanks for joining us on Business Now. Here are some stories we are tracking at this hour. I am Margaret Opara. We begin Business Now from Russia, looking at the impact of the ongoing crisis on the state of the economy and business activities across the globe. The US and the UK are banning Russian oil as the European Union is ending its reliance on Russia's gas, stepping up the economic response to the invasion of Ukraine. The US President Joe Biden said the move targeted the main artery of Russia's economy. Energy exports are a vital source of revenue for Russia, but the move is also likely to impact Western consumers. Russia's economy is heavily dependent on energy. It is the world's third biggest oil producer behind Saudi Arabia and the US. Before the measures were announced, Russia warned of catastrophic consequences for the global economy and said it might close its main gas pipeline to Germany. On the ground in Ukraine, civilians have been evacuated from 2 under-attack areas, while the US has said up to 4,000 Russian troops may have been killed in the conflict. A leading ratings agency has warned Russia is likely to soon default on its debt as it downgraded the country's bounce further into junk territory. Fitch ratings slashed its assessment of Russia to almost the bottom of its scale, just days after downgrading it from investment status. It is the latest blow to the country's creditworthiness in the wake of its invasion of Ukraine. This week, Moscow said its bond payments may be affected by sanctions. The firm added the further ratcheting of the sanctions and proposals that it could limit trade in energy, increase the probability of a policy response by Russia that includes at least selective non-payments of its sovereign debt obligations. From the announcement from Fitch came after the US and the UK said they will ban Russian oil as a step up its economic response to the invasion of Ukraine. And still on the economic situation in Russia, ministers are making it a criminal offense for planes owned or chartered by Russians to enter the UK's airspace. Russian-owned aircraft are already banned from flying into UK, but the new move is aimed at targeting private jets registered in the third country being chartered by wealthy Russians. The government said the sanction would target figures close to the Kremlin. One plane at Faaborg Airport in Hemisphere is already under investigation. The UK authorities have held the Luxembourg-registered private jets to investigate whether it is Russian-owned and brought a Russian passenger to the UK in contravention of sanctions. The government has also announced new trade sanctions that will prevent all UK exports of aviation or space-related technology to Russia, including related services such as insurance. The consumer giants, including McDonald's, Coca-Cola and Starbucks, have joined the list of firms halting businesses in Russia due to the invasion in Ukraine. McDonald's said it was temporarily closing its roughly 850 restaurants in Russia, while Starbucks also said its 100 coffee shops would shut. On Wednesday, Heineken stopped beer production and sales in Russia. And Mothercare said all businesses in Russia, which represent 20% to 25% of its global sales, had been stopped. The move by McDonald's, Coca-Cola and Starbucks came after mounting pressure on companies to act over the war in Ukraine. Now, European stocks and Wall Street futures rebounded Wednesday as investors watched diplomatic efforts to end Russia's attack on Ukraine, while Asian markets sank after Chinese inflation accelerated. Already high oil prices added more than $1 per barrel following President Joe Biden's ban on imports of Russian crude. London and Frankfurt opened higher. Shanghai, Tokyo and Hong Kong declined amid enduring unease about the war's global impact. The futures for Wall Street S&P 500 index and Dow Jones Industrial Average were 1% after the market slid on Tuesday. And more business stories, congregational leaders reached a bipartisan deal early Wednesday, providing $13.6 billion to help Ukraine and European allies, plus billions more to battle the pandemic as part of an overdue $1.5 trillion measure financing federal agencies for the rest of this year. Though a tiny fraction of the massive bill, the money countering Russian Blitzkrieg said the devastated part of Ukraine and prompted Europe's most refugee crisis since World War II ensured and measure would pass with robust bipartisan support. President Joe Biden requested $10 billion for military, humanitarian and economic aid last week, and Democratic and Republican backing was so staunch that the figure grew to $12 billion on Monday and $13.6 just a day later. Now to local stories. Experts has expressed optimism on the national carrier. Nigeria Air scheduled to kickstart in the second quarter of 2022. A stakeholder in the aviation sector and air pilot Daba Suleiman, who spoke on iBrandTV Business Breakfast, hopes to see a national carrier ready for business.
I look forward, like I said, I look forward to see us having a national carrier, a strong, beautiful arrangement that will give us the one we used to have, the Nigerian Airways. Nigerian Airways is a very wonderful image for Nigeria all over the world, globally. And because of mismanagement, because of government policies and wrong policies, and all these ideas of saying we are in charge and all of that, that's what killed Nigerian Airways. Look at where we are today. Look at Ethiopian Airlines. Look at Emirates. They are behind us, far behind us. But today, look at where they are. Of course, we look forward to a better arrangement because it has to be a better arrangement. But I also prefer that government have a stake and give some part of the stake to private sector, because I know with the involvement of the private sector holding some stake in the Nigerian in the national carrier, it will help us to grow positively and make profits for this country. If you look at the location of Nigeria, it's so huge that there's a lot of potential to what we're doing, but it's just that we have not gotten it right. And until we get it right, I guess we're not going to be where it should be.
The currency in circulation rose by 418 billion naira from 2.91 trillion naira in December 2020 to 3.33 trillion naira in December 2021, according to figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria. The CBN data showed that currency in circulation had increased by 19.6% from 2.44 trillion naira recorded as of December 2019. The CBN said in its report on currency operations that the growth in CIC reflected the continued dominance of cash in the economy, end of quote. Analysis of the CIC shows that a greater proportion was in higher denomination banknotes, 100 naira, 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira. The higher denomination banknotes together accounted for 63.47% and 98.8% of the total CIC, in terms of volume and value, respectively. The volume of lower denomination banknotes 5 naira, 10 naira, 20 naira, 50 naira accounted for 28.43% of the total CIC and 1.92% in terms of value as at the end of December 2020. Following the decision by the federal government through the Nigerian Customs Service to extend it by 31 days, the controversial electronic valuation system for imported vehicles, also known as Vehicle Identification Number Valuation, a stakeholder has stated that freight forwarders will shift ground pending the outcome of the 31-day suspension. Godfrey Wosu, Chairman Tinkan Chapter, Africa Association of Professional Freight Forwarders and Logistics in Nigeria, noted that 31 days will not be enough to clear the 12,000 units of vehicles trapped at the port.
We are going to shift ground pending the outcome of this grace period. And mind you, they did not consider the period where we are going to experience technical hitches like server issues that have always been there. They did not consider the period where it will now require manual automation and the backlog